Is this better?
It sounds so much better.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
I can hear your lips rumbling. Oh, wait. One quick question before I start. Are you sober? Do you drink?
Right now I'm drinking an NA beer, but I am not sober.
Okay, because we've never met. This is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time in my life that I rushed home to do the podcast, and I am drinking a cider, a local cider, a hard cider.
Nice.
And I'm like, I felt sort of like inappropriate. Like if like you were actually like sober in the program, I would have felt like that was like insulting.
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
And
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. And I'm so sorry about yesterday.
Not at all.
I have to make a confession. Yesterday, I did not get called into work. I completely went blank and forgot that we had scheduled a podcast appointment. So I had to come clear. I couldn't start our friendship out with a lie.
Wait, you told me you got called into work and you hadn't?
Yes. I know. I felt so lame and so bad. This is the actual truth. I was at the gym. On an elliptical machine. I'm like, doo, 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 doo. It's like 3:45, and you're like, we're still on for today, right? And I'm like, holy schmacks. And so I don't know what it was, and I had this weird compulsion to be like, don't tell the truth, don't tell the truth, don't tell the truth,
no.
lie. But I apologize. We had set up an appointment to talk and do this podcast. And in my mind, I had Thursday at 4:00, and I had the number 4, and it didn't translate to actually March 4th. It translated to 4 p.m. on Thursday.
I understand that.
Okay.
I do understand that.
My apologies. Okay.
But you're forgiven.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. Moral of the story.
I'm so happy you decided and have the time here to chat. Stefan Weiner. Am I pronouncing it right?
That's right. That's right.
So much to talk about there in general.
Amazing.
But like on the internet's full of talent, full of crazy people, full of like media personalities. And I was so happy when I stumbled upon your videos. I think the first video I stumbled upon of yours was the If All Politicians Were Gay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So back up, Mike. I'm telling myself, God,
Sure.
this is the first time I've been having a sip and doing a podcast.
My.
Stefan Weiner, you are a New York City-based indie folk singer-songwriter, a finalist on the Tiny Desk Concert NPR.
Yes. Last year. Not this year, but last year.
2024, which is amazing because I've discovered so many different artists that I hadn't heard of through Tiny Desk. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was very, very cool. Yeah.
And so I found your Instagram with I wrote it down, Bawdy gay folk songs. Bawdy.
Bawdy. Yeah.
What is Bawdy? BAWDY.
My understanding is that it's like another word for raunchy.
Raunchy. Yeah. Because you have songs like about glory holes.
Exactly.
And so you caught my attention. I feel like we're on a really awkward first date. It's really funny when you meet people for the very first time online too. I have very anxious like first date energy always.
Oh my God. Not necessary, but I appreciate it.
Look. And then I followed you back to the Instagram, and I was like so unbelievably like, I don't know, there's certain people and artists and musicians that are like funny, and talented. And then I found my way back to your Instagram, and I started going through it. And I'm like, this dude's actually supremely talented and funny. And so I was so glad when you said you had some time to actually talk.
Of course. I'm always happy to talk.
How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a pouring rain here in New York, but I didn't have to go outside since this morning, so I've dodged all of it. But all of my roommates are coming in just like drenched. So it's a gloomy day.
Oddly enough, I'm in San Diego, California, and it's about to rain really hard. We're due a big rainstorm right now, so we're on the same like wavelength as far as like barometer temperature and Mother Nature. I'm such a dork. Like if I met you at the bar right now, I'd be like, Mike, walk away. You're embarrassing yourself.
Not at all. Very charming. Very charming.
Anyhow, so when I traveled back to your Instagram, I was like, and when I was watching your fun videos, the Bawdy, why can't I say that? Videos, I like literally wanted to know everything about you. I was like, I want to know what farmer's market he goes to, which thrift stores he goes to, because I look at your Instagram and I say, this guy goes to farmer's markets and thrift stores.
You pegged me. That's right.
And just everything about you, like what your musical influences were, like who you listen to, who inspires you. So I really would. I'm so happy to talk to you finally to get some answers. Barb Walter hitting answers.
If you're a Barbara Walters, I don't know who that makes me.
You are what's Oprah's fake lesbian lover, Gail.
Gail. Okay. Does Barbara have a Gail?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're Gail. I also am like trying to think like, okay, maybe hard cider's not the proper way to go.
Well, we can't turn back now. So you just gotta dive in.
Yes, but I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm intrigued. I absolutely love your voice.
Thank you.
And I think you're really creative with your lyrics, and they're fun and they're raunchy. So I just want to hear a little bit more about like how you started writing these little ditties.
Well, you know, as you said, the internet is a crazy place, and a main thing is not bawdy gay songs. That's just what I do for online.
Yeah.
My main songs are heartfelt and introspective and about my life. But I've always wanted to like find ways to have fun with music, because as a songwriter, that's kind of the funny thing about songwriting and about a lot of art is that it's not really fun. It's not really all that enjoyable. It's just like a thing that you feel like you have to do.
Like songwriting?
Yeah. It's not,
right.
I don't really like the craft of it. I love performing, but the craft of writing is not all that fun. Like when I'm writing about myself, because you have to like dig into these difficult emotions and like get to the root of like why something made you feel awful, or I'm trying to write more happy songs too, but
instead of like bury it, write songs about it, which hopefully people will relate to.
Exactly, which is like the name of the game. That's like when I can find somebody that relates to my music, or somebody approaches me after a show, it's like it's the biggest high, you know. So, but I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do something that would maybe stand out on the internet. And
you have to.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to. Like, how does an artist these days? I've said forever. You have no idea who I am in general, as like a person, and like owning that weird blog for years. So like. But it's something I only say that because it's something I've talked about for years. Like, you have to stand out in one way or another. And I think so many queer artists, and I think you've identified as a queer artist.
Oh yeah.
Have to like take their shirts off, or like do something really sensual or sexy. And I actually like one of the first things I do when someone catches my attention on the internet, I'm like, I want to see shirtless picture. And I feel like you haven't gone that route.
I mean, sometimes I do. If I'm feeling myself, like
you're sexy.
Thank you.
I mean, this is inappropriate and weird, and probably like, let's call HR. But like you've got it. Okay.
Thank you.
You got the full package.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's not like I'm above doing that too. It's the internet. The internet likes. Well, it's weird because it's like I thought for a while Instagram was like deprioritizing photos that had nipples in them, but then there's the whole free the nipple movement.
Or
and
like
now
pubic hairs. Pubic hair is a big thing on Instagram too. Like if you have like someone has pubes showing, it's like, ooh.
Really?
Yeah,
God.
pubic hair is one of the things, because like one of the things like the website that I like run is like big on is like just like sexy photo shoots and like sexual expression of like body yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
But if you share a picture that I've shared on my website on Instagram, and there's like pubes showing, you'll get in trouble. Facebook will absolutely 100% delete you and throw you in the trash can.
So that sort of leads me back to why I started making these songs. It just like it came to me one day being like, this would be a fun way a way to make songwriting fun. I was sort of in like a serious songwriting slump. I really hadn't written anything in a very long time. I'd been producing a record, so it was understandable. But I wanted to like get the gears turning again. And,
Sure.
And, you know, like, I consume a decent amount of porn, and also there's like so many porn tropes out in the world that everybody knows about. So why not write about that? And it's worked.
It's fun and catchy, and I don't know like how connected you are and knowing like porn stars or porn actors or adult actors, but like this past week, I don't know if you saw that like an actor, porn actor named Tim Kruger passed away.
Oh, no.
He's a redhead with a enormous penis. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know where you are, but I have a follow up. He's a Tim Kruger, and like rest in peace. But like he passed away this past week. His name was Tim Kruger. I interviewed him years ago in a bathtub.
Wow.
That was something I did back in the day. But what was my point?
Knowing about adult film stars or the
Yeah.
industry, or...
And Tim Kruger, rest in peace.
That is really sad. I assume he was not very old.
No, I believe he was 44, and like his partner went online to like make it very clear, because you know there's a lot of speculation and like rumors and all that about like the why the person's how the person passed away. Sure. And he made it very clear that it was an accident at home, but it was like so sad. It was someone I've known for years, and it's 44. It's too young. That's a complete another podcast about people in our community leaving too soon.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, but your dirty, rotten songs about glory holes and gay politicians and lesbians, because lesbians will make the... What was the lyrics? I was just watching a video earlier.
If all the politicians were lesbians, the streets would be just for pedestrians.
Yes. Like, that's the thing about your songs. They're not just, like, shock value. I don't know. Personally, I think they're very clever, and they're very insightful about, like, who and what we are as a community. Do you identify as a queer man, a gay man?
Queer, gay, yeah. But either.
Okay.
But I also really love homosexual.
Homosexual, that feels dirty.
I love it. For some reason, I love it. It's so like it feels like it connects me to the queer past, you know?
I feel like homosexual is such a good term. I'm so glad you said that, because sometimes I'm like I'm married. And my husband, sometimes I'm like, hi, this is my husband. He's my gay homosexual husband. I feel like it's so like cutthroat to the point. And I actually wrote a question down here that's kind of relates right to what we're talking about. So I'm going to read it.
Throw it at me.
In terms of how we identify, like homosexual, gay, queer. And my question was, and I stole this from somewhere I saw on the internet the other day, as like, have like straight hipsters stolen the term queer? And by that I mean, queer has become very popular and much more used by people's identity. And I have seen, but I saw this as the question online the other day, have like just like hipsters, weirdos, stolen the term queer, because queer used to mean, I think back in the day, like, to me it's sort of gay but like cool. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people in the straight community, or I've seen or I've heard, have stolen queer as like sort of like a cool new term, as like someone who's like open to like polyamorous relationships or bi relationships. Or,
well, if somebody's bi, then they can be queer. They can fit under that umbrella. I mean, the whole poly debate as to whether that should be a part of the LGBTQ IA+2S plus community,
right,
like
questioning.
Yeah. But poly specifically, like, there's also like the debate whether poly is a orientation or whether it's just like a lifestyle, which is funny because they used to say that gay was a lifestyle. So
no, it's fascinating, to me, sort of like.
But I've never heard a heterosexually identifying person identify as queer. I have that would just make the world very confusing, in my opinion.
Yes, I am someone who is like a tad bit older. I'm not in my 20s anymore, but I will not reveal my age.
Neither am I.
Why am I flirting with you in our podcast? That's crazy.
Because you had half a cider.
No, shit. That's 3 ciders. Yo-hoo! It's my Friday also. I have Thursday, Fridays off. So like the only thing I have to do the next 2 days is I have therapy tomorrow at 11. So boom.
Incredible.
Boom. Incredible. So I will drink some ciders, and if I feel bad about it, I will talk to my therapist about it tomorrow.
I hope I don't do anything in this interview that triggers you. I will.
No, oh my God, you are... I only talk to people I love.
Amazing. No, I
What?
say that in jest, obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to come back to your music
Okay.
because I'm trying to be professional. My podcast that I've started is called Fear and Ordinary Life. And I feel like you're living life outside the box. Like I feel like you're cool. I feel like I am an upstate. I was born and raised in upstate New York, like thrift stores, farmers market, lesbians selling apples, like
That's
folk
right.
music. My dad's gay best friend. So like I never even came out of the closet. I just was like, ooh, this young gay boy. And I feel like
Wait, that
I
is
don't know. I feel like,
so many things that you just said that described my growing up too.
and like, where are you originally? Like, where were you born and raised?
Lesbianville, America, Northampton, Massachusetts.
Is that where Rachel Maddow was born?
Exactly.
Or she's
that's
from?
where she came. That's where she came up in the world of news.
Oh my God, that's so crazy because I posted a picture of me and Rachel Maddow. I met
saw
the
that.
Queen years ago.
Yeah,
And I was
she
just
used
like,
to- yeah.
Okay, and
She
that's
was on Valley Free Radio in Northampton. But yeah, my dad had a gay best friend growing up. His name was Steve. Yeah, farmers markets. Like, we had one of the first lesbian mayors in the country. And then my parents actually used to take me to Albany to
Albany, yeah.
to the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival when it was there. So I used to see... So I, like, grew up listening to folk music as well.
Well, that's fun. I don't know why. I just saw you and I was like, this dude probably smells a little bit like patchouli.
No, I don't go that direction. Nothing against it. The patchouli is like, because of those folk festivals and because of my dad's friends, is like a nostalgic smell. But it's not. That's not. It's not my. I'm more of like a. Like, I feel like if I had come of age in the '60s, I would have been more of a politico hippie and not like a tune out kind of a hippie.
Yeah. And then what happened? What happened that brought you to New York City? What happened? Did you
What
go to
happened? I did go to school.
like
there,
what brought you to New York City, and then what brought you to like music? Were you always musically inclined? Did you like play instruments? Were you like playing the clarinet as a little boy? Like, and like what brought you like sort of like to the where you are today, like musically? Like,
Sure.
What was your path like?
I started playing cello when I was 6, and then played that through elementary school, then picked up the guitar, then some more cello, then some other instruments, and decided to come to New York to study audio engineering and production. And then I've stayed here ever since, and I've been here now for 16 years, and it's...
Really, 16 years? I won't ask your
my
age.
home.
You don't ask those questions.
I'm turning 34 next month. It's true.
That's perfect. That's like such a perfect age.
It feels good.
So being a queer out artist and like self-proclaimed, I looked at your YouTube channel to figure out a little bit more about you, like about, are you friends with other like singer, songwriter, queer artists? Like your target audience, Mike, what the hell have you done to yourself? Your target audience in New York, is there like a really a bond between other artists and musicians? The queer scene, is your target audience like outside of the queer scene? Like that was 14 questions, but also
no, but I know
sing,
I can synthesize that into one question.
but I'm a mess. But I'm 52, which I fucking can't even believe that.
That's awesome.
But when you see your music, do you see it in a movie? Do you see it in like a cabaret? Do you see it in a coffee house? Or do you see it like, where do you see your music? Like, what is your target audience?
Well, okay, so there are a couple. I'm going to back up a little bit and answer some of the other questions that were embedded in there. Okay, so my community, definitely a large part of my community is other musicians in folk music. The funny thing about folk as a genre that I didn't necessarily know, 5-10 years ago, is that there are a lot of queer women, and I guess that's not surprising at all, because you have Lilith Fair, you have Ani DeFranco, you have all these people that identify as queer. It was like a safe space for queer women specifically. There are very few queer men in this genre. No. Almost none.
It is. I am so with you there, because like going towards like personal music tastes, like I wrote down here earlier, which we'll talk about, I'll ask you later, like queer artists, musicians, like they're like same. And in that same, I don't see a lot of queer folk artists, male folk artists as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sufjan Stevens finally came out. So
Yes.
there's one of them. There's somebody I grew up listening to named Final Fantasy, who's this violinist. I think he was in Arcade Fire back in the day. And the lead singer of Grizzly Bear. And
Yes.
then the lead
We
singer
were just
of
talking the other day.
Broken Social Scene. You were talking with him?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was talking to him about being Ed, about being, I was going to do a podcast with him, and he just, this is, I don't think it's sharing too much. Now was not the right time for him because he's got some like personal stuff going on. And I was like,
enough.
dude, I want to talk to you about transitioning from like being a fucking like musician, rock star to he's a therapist now.
Oh.
Roast. Am I spelling, probably pronouncing it wrong, but like Ed, yeah. Anyways.
Fascinating. Okay.
Do you know a singer named Eric Hyman?
I don't. But
Jesus.
I feel like we should know each other because he also has a funny last name. So
And like, where have we been? Why have I never found you until this year? Where have you been? Where have you been hiding? It's just like for a while, on the website Accidental Bear, which is really funny to talk about because I'm not a bear, although I look like this, but I'm not a bear. I identify as a queer weirdo art fag.
yeah, that's great.
But Eric Hyman's a queer singer-songwriter, and it's someone I've been like championing for years because his voice is amazing.
Where is he based?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Whoa.
Random,
Interesting
right?
place to be a queer folk musician.
Yeah. But he's like so much. Oh, he's so much. I'm sort of in love with him. I'm in love with a lot of people. Just saying. I feel like I have so much love. I can love a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
What were we
some more of
talking
your
about?
questions. Okay, so a lot of queer women in the folk scene. I'm still figuring out what my target demographic is.
And I also
I
brought
think
up
it is-
Eric Hyman because he's obsessed and has performed and opened for Annie DeFranco a couple times. So there was like a correlation there.
Got it. No, I'm a huge, big fan of. Yeah, I saw her when I was like in 2002 or 1 or I was seeing all those incredible people back then. It was such a gift to go to that festival. So I'm still figuring out what my demographic is, and then
weird question. Yeah.
No. It's a question that musicians need to be aware of because
And like the
otherwise-
queer glory hole type like little songs like clearly go towards like a certain demographic.
Well, yeah. So then the name of the game has become like how many of those out like the circle of people that like my music, that like my earnest music are over here, and then the circle of people that like the gay body stuff are over here, and where's the overlap, and how many of the people that like the comedy music are also going to like the earnest stuff,
if tomorrow you put out a song, despite the song quality of the song, but if you posted the thumbnail of the picture of you shirtless with an armpit, Instinct, Toll Road, all the gay websites would pick up on it and share it. It's just the way it works, which is I think is so sad, but very accurate.
Yeah. I mean, my whole, we can get sort of into my the reason what I do in part is to make gay art about more than just sex and about, about all the things all the things and more that, straight people go through too, that all kinds of people go through, but just from a gay perspective. But it is also my belief as a songwriter that specificity leads to universality. So if you can be really specific about what you're going through, people will relate to it, and it will strike a chord in them, even if it's not something that they can see themselves in necessarily. They will be oh, you are another human, and I appreciate humans sharing who they are. That's sort of my stump speech, if you will.
Yeah, I feel like your songs, the little short songs you play, I don't want to say that aren't your music, but the short songs you play about glory holes or gay politicians or their thoughts and their thought processes about how other people you think. So sometimes when you say that out loud in a song, it's hilarious. Oh, he's talking about a glory hole, but I understand that. I've been there. I've thought that. And it's cool, sort of empowering to think someone else also thinks that, and
That's cool.
You know, like
One of the other sort of reasons behind starting those songs, I'm remembering sort of like the seed of that idea was just thinking about like watching porn myself and being like, if this is supposed to be a scene, like if this is like taking place, like if they're in outfits of any kind, or like, you know, what is the like theme of the thing, whatever.
right, like a uniform of sorts.
Exactly. It's always so poorly done, always. And I feel like maybe that's the point. Is that like, I mean, they're not actors necessarily.
Right.
Maybe some of them are. Like, I don't want to say that.
Tracy Lord.
I'll have to check it out. I'll check them out.
Tracy Lord's the female porn actress who crossed over into mainstream films.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know about her. But anyway, like...
You're a baby. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with you right now, by the way.
My God.
So if we were on a date right now, I would reach in for a kiss.
Whoa!
Okay, what were you saying?
That, like, I wanted to write songs that centered the scene, and then the sex came at the end. Like, the sex always comes at the end.
Gotcha.
But that you, like, I wanted to sort of draw out the scenic portion, and then, like, obviously sex is going to happen, but I wanted to make the scene more meaningful, if you will.
Sure.
And then, like, find as many innuendos as I possibly could with each scenario.
That makes sense. I mean, that's catchy and fun, and like people's tension and span is so much shorter than it used to be. Like,
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
like you really have to grab somebody, or they're gonna swipe right, swipe left, flick up, go to the next app. So you really have to grab people's attention.
The rule of thumb, and I know you're a content creator too, but the rule of thumb that I've heard is that, like, if you don't catch somebody in the first like 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, then you've already lost them.
100%.
Crazy. And
Like, that horrifies me, and I agree with it.
it's awful. I mean, like, there is an analog, back in the day when radio DJs were getting like cassette tapes in the mail, or even like vinyl records in the mail, like test pressings. They would listen to like the first 15 to 30 seconds and then decide, is this worth my time?
Right. Throw it in the pile.
But yeah, 15 to 30 seconds feels
Stefan,
like a huge luxury.
I have to ask you this question. What
Yeah.
in 1.5 seconds would grab your attention? That's sort of like when you look in the mirror, you're like,
You know what it would be?
Yeah.
A guy lifting up his arm and showing his armpit hair.
we are like the same person. Or like, because I was about to say like a shirtless body or torso or an armpit, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna wait around for 4 more seconds, and then if I don't see any abs or pubes, I'm obsessed with pubes. By the way, like 70s is natural pubes.
Sure. Interesting.
Fucking,
Got it. You're into the retro.
I am. I don't know
That's
if that
great.
was. I don't know. It's just my thing.
Everybody's
Okay.
gotta have a thing.
Let's get serious. Let's get serious. You have a brand new song out, which I think is so cute and adorable
Thank
and
you.
listenable, called
Wonderful.
Do Nothing.
Yes.
What is that song about?
It is about well, it's sort of about the opposite of social media, I guess.
Yeah,
which
I was actually like stalking you on Instagram later earlier, and you did something. Oh, wait, was it just a few minutes ago? You posted something
Yeah.
about like
2
social
hours
media.
ago. Yeah.
I'm in love. Okay,
Oh,
keep
jeez.
going.
But yeah, about how, I don't know. I mean, like, I used to think it was just about New York, but I guess it's just like growing up and being an adult in modern times where there's all these pressures. I go through social media. It's always like, what award did somebody win? What promotion did somebody get? Like, what?
Right.
Like, everybody's just like constantly achieving. What party did somebody get invited to? Whatever. What vacation did somebody go on? And yeah, it took me until my last long-term relationship to like really find a way to shut all that out and just be in the present. And like, I mean, I'm good about putting my phone down when I hang out with people. I'm not one of
Are you
those people
currently
who's-
single?
I am.
Okay. Just to bookmark that.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
it does matter, sort of like as
I
far
know.
as like
Yeah.
your perspective on the world. So hey,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
out there, he's single.
Ooh.
Get it? Okay.
I mean, I'm ready to mingle. But anyway, yeah. So like, I am the type of person who really tries to be as present as possible when I'm with another human being. But to find a person who can like make you ignore that shit for like a full 24 hours is very special, you know?
Yeah.
In this like extremely fast-paced life that we're all living and world that we're all living in.
That is so true. Like if you could find somebody you can spend like 24 hours with and they're like so like consumed with like being present and with you IRL in real life that they don't need to check Facebook, Instagram, Sniffies, Grindr, Scruff, Twitter, Blue Sky, Gmail. Whew. And like you're enough for them. Wow, that would feel pretty good.
Exactly. So
do nothing.
Yeah, that's what the song's about.
Fun. How is it about like getting your music out? This is completely random and off the cusp, but like when you put out a new song, like you're a singer-songwriter, like it's a kind of it's vulnerable. You want to put yourself out there to the world and you want as many people as possible to listen to your stuff. How does that what's that thinking process for? Is it like stressful? Is it like do you feel supported by like the queer community? Like do you reach out to like queer blogs, or how is it that you like get your like let's say new song out there?
So it is like an ever-changing landscape almost on a weekly, monthly basis. Like, to be honest, like I don't know if anybody knows right now. 10, 15 years ago when I was starting out my career, yeah, you'd email 500 blogs and hope that they would write about you. And back then, like, yeah, like email 500 blogs, you might get 40, 50 write-ups.
Like, do you have a publicist? Are you really like an indie solo self-publishing, self-promoting artist, right?
Well, now I'm working with a label right now called Better Company for this album, which is super exciting. So they're definitely providing a lot of insight and strategy for me. But a lot of it is like, trying to go viral or like trying to like just capture people's attention.
Or just fucking thirst trap the shit out of it. Like I keep coming.
There's no shame in that because it's just like it's such a mess. It's such a mess. It's like so oversaturated. It's like the whole, yes, the internet and media has become fully democratized and now everybody has a platform, so to speak.
Right.
Everybody has a platform, so why does anybody want to listen to you? You know, like it's very, very hard to get out there. And
it's tricky, huh?
So there's the internet, which is like obviously like the behemoth, and then otherwise it's just playing lots of shows and like going on tour and meeting people face to face.
Yeah, selling some merch.
Exactly.
Hopefully, you're like, I made $17 on merch last night. Woo! I can eat. I'm gonna like splurge and buy a burrito today.
I know burritos have gotten so much more expensive.
That is funny. Like you're in New York City. I was born upstate New York, but I like pretty much spent my whole from like 19 to like all my adult years in San Francisco. So I know all about like expensive cities and prices
Yeah.
So
It's
I
tough.
hope do nothing. Like what would be like a pivotal moment for releasing Do Nothing for you? Like what would be like satisfying? Like, wow, yes, I did it. Like, because I know a lot of things these days are like by views or likes or reshares or podcasts. And like, let me be clear, I am nobody, nothing. I'm just somebody who has always really sort of supported artists who are like emerging.
That's awesome. I mean, we need that in the world. So that's really, really important. I mean, I think there are a lot of ways that I would feel satisfied. I mean, for it to do, decently well on Spotify, or something like that. But like really more so like the things that are actually satisfying, not just like numbers on a screen, are when other artists that I look up to are appreciating my work, which is why like the Tiny Desk contest was so cool, because for somebody like Julian Baker to like understand what I'm doing and endorse it was awesome. And if I could have other opportunities for something like that to happen, to meet the people that influenced me, or like that, like
right. Like we see you. Like we therapy talk. We see you. Who are some artists that influenced you?
Well, I've already named a few of them for sure when we're talking about queer artists in the folk community. But yeah, Sufjan Stevens was massive.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like an education in production and arranging, but then also people like Fiona Apple and like that album Extraordinary Machine was like massively influential for me. But then like in a totally different direction, when I was 17 years old, I became obsessed with collecting 78 RPM records, like basically your grandparents' record collection. I'm talking like 1920s through 50s.
Oh, I think I'm misunderstanding what RPMs are. Wait,
78 RPMs.
Okay.
So a regular record, well, like the records that we know that we are more familiar with today are these, which is like the long play record, and then 45.
Right. The 45 was like the small one?
Are the small ones, those are the singles. So you had your A side and B side. But 78 were before all that. They started in like late 1800s, early 1900s, and then went up until about 1955. And yeah, I became obsessed with those records, and like got an article in our local paper because my dad is very connected in Northampton. And then dozens of elderly people were like, I've got some in my basement. So I amassed.
They're holding my box up in the garage.
Exactly. So I was given about 2,000 to 3,000 records. And then I listened to all of them and picked the ones that I liked and kept them. And I still have like probably 800 or so at my parents' house.
That's like incomprehensible. That's like insane. Yeah. That's also amazing.
It was so cool.
You are not an ordinary queer.
I guess not. But I mean
that as a compliment, but I also don't mean that as like,
I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be weird. I want to be.
It's just like fucking, you're going to be buried in a 6-foot grave someday. Like, do something different.
Hey.
Okay.
I mean, I think I want to be sky buried. That's my dream.
Sky buried? Like shot into space?
No. Where they like, this is going to sound really morose, but they like cut you up and put you on a mountain for the vultures.
I'm laughing because I told you what I do for a living. I'm a zookeeper. I'm like, oh my God, my tigers and lions that I took care of today would fucking love that. They would eat you up, and I'd be like, all right.
Why not?
You know what? Let's talk.
Back to the earth. Exactly. As little carbon footprint as I can.
That is fucking amazing. I love that. Little carbon footprints. Okay. I don't want to take up all your time in the world. Okay. There's 2 questions that I always ask.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Big ones.
I always try to tell people ahead of time because sometimes on the spot questions are like tricky. Mm-hmm. But 2 questions that I always ask everybody. The first, when I first started this podcast, I was going to talk about getting old, queer community, old people. And everyone else was like, that's not sexy. But I think it's important for the queer community to talk about like seniors and elders and like people before us. And also be prepared for ourselves because we're all aging.
Exactly.
One of the first questions is, what are some of your biggest fears about aging as a queer man?
Interesting. I mean, I say interesting as if this is the first time I've heard this question. You did tell me this ahead of time.
No, but it's like a think about it.
Yeah.
I can go pour myself another cider while you think about it.
No, I'm ready. Well, the first thing I want to say before I get into fears is that there is
things you're looking forward to, yeah. My cat just went crazy.
Oh my. There is a LGBTQ old folks home like half a mile from my house.
Sage?
Is it called Sage?
There's an organization called Sage that like is all about advocating for elderly.
It's next to Fort Greene Park, and it would be so cool to live there. Like I want to grow old in New York City if I can, and
that's not scary to you. Like I actually literally left San Francisco like because I thought like who knows, I might end up back there. But I thought to myself that like living in a really big city as an old person sounds a little bit more scary to me. Or do you feel supported, like a ball sack supported in a jockstrap?
There are scary elements. Like I do see elderly people, like, scooting down the street, walking at an extremely slow pace. Like I am zooming by them. I mean, not in a way that
like it looks sort of like
them, but it's just
challenge.
Like, it's like, oh my God, it takes half the day to go to the corner store. Like it's hard.
Yeah, I hope they have cider. Okay.
Most of them do. So that's scary. I mean, that's regular old person scary.
Just like getting around, you mean? Or like, what do you mean?
I mean, like independence,
like the whole process of like actually physically getting around,
just being independent, and I
mobility,
mean, like,
sort of
like
mobility.
I saw my grandmother deteriorate. I mean, she was 101 when she passed away, which was awesome, and was like pretty with it and independent until she was about 95. So like, crossing my fingers that I get to have that old age too.
Yeah. That's a privilege.
it-
I feel like this is
Yeah.
weird, but it's like I feel like it's a privilege to get old.
Yeah, totally.
Is that deep?
No.
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I just like
No.
I caught a glimpse of myself, and I was like, "Holy shit! Did you just say something like deep?" Because I am so shallow. I'm such an idiot. Okay.
No. And I feel like I have earned the right to be honest with you to say that wasn't.
I feel like we're best friends. I'm sorry. Keep talking. Or I have a crush. I can't tell the difference.
Oh my god.
I'm not well. I'm not
God.
well.
Okay, so growing old as a queer person. So I think I am less scared now than I would have been, than I would maybe if I had thought about this 10 years ago. Because I feel like, and this is going to sound stupid and shallow, but like daddies are in right now. So
hot. Yeah.
hot right now. And, like I was listening to
Right.
Dan Savage's podcast today, and like somebody called and was like, I'm 60 and I get hit on by all the 20-year-olds all the time. Not to say that I'm like trying to date people in their 20s, even as a 33, almost 34-year-old.
Right. An older brother, perhaps.
Yeah. But
Okay,
like,
that's turned into my like porn fetish for a second.
but just to know that there are spaces for and appreciation for queer adults. Like, I feel like it's also, I mean, maybe this is just the world that I'm in, but like really like just a deep appreciation for people that, well, I mean, obviously this is my generation, but people that survived the AIDS crisis. And,
Sure.
But just like anybody who's older and has wisdom, you know, like there is, it feels like there is an appreciation in the queer community for that.
It's almost like you're fucking alive. Congratulations.
Exactly.
I mean, in a way, for sure.
That 100%. And you know, like I don't have, you know, like the bad old days or like the tough times to say that I lived through, other than like, you know, high school in the early 2000s.
And you were like probably like cutting yourself, like just so you could feel something.
No.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh my god, no, I wasn't. That was not my.
I'm
wasn't
very
my
dark.
reality.
Like, I'm all smiles and all dark. I'm like such a
yeah.
contradiction. I'm like I was born on June 5th, and like I'm a very Gemini, and I am a twin sign. So like I am like all about like the yin and yang and dark and light. But like I'm all smiles but dark.
But yeah, this isn't just. I'm not comparing a bit of my experience with living through the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
But like, I hope that this type of like appreciation for queer elders, like celebration of people that came before, continues. Not because I want to be celebrated, but just that I like.
Right. Well, I mean, that's your future.
I want to be part of the conversation. I want to be, and not in an egoistic way, but in a way that like to offer what I can, you know, like to provide whatever wisdom I can.
I mean, because your story will be important to someone else who's like sort of like 10 years younger than you. It's just so funny how much things have changed, and like the current atmosphere is scary and dangerous. I was trying to. Oh my god, my cats are fighting.
Are you talking about like the? Yeah, I know.
We're all gonna die.
We'll see.
I'm like gay married, but like for the first time since then, we got married in 2014. I'm like, is that gonna be taken away from me?
Depends what state you're in.
Yeah, I'm such a fucking in and out liberal because I grew up in Ithaca, New York, which is like upstate New York, and like a Cornell University, and it's like I grew up in such a liberal family. What's that?
My sister went to Ithaca College, so I'm very familiar.
And so like people asked me when I came out, and I was like, I sort of was always out. I was like the weirdo kid in high school that wore all black and like spent all of his time in the art classroom. And so like there was never, and I'm very, very lucky for that. But like I was always out. Hi, drinking cider, doing a podcast. Okay, so I have hard hitting questions. That was the first one. Your fears of becoming an elder. My second question is, what today in your life, in a daily routine, you're getting up and you're just like, you love so much, you're like, hell yeah. Whether it's like food or music or a coffee shop or an actor or an actress or like a porn star. Like, is there someone's penis you look at every day and you're like, hell yeah.
Every day. That's so funny.
Every day. You told me you look at porn. Would you try to be innocent now?
You got me.
Okay. I'm sorry. that was kind.
No, I like to be called out. It's good.
So what these days are like, you're just so really into, like something that like really just like invigorates you, makes you feel alive, whether it's like food or music or a band or a TV show or a porn star.
I mean, there's so many ways that I could take this.
What gets you erect every day? Oh my God, did I just say that? What gets your boner standing tall every day?
I mean, I do have my favorites on the internet. So the funny thing about, this is an aside and then I'll get to the real question. The funny thing about, the reason why I'm like being a little like coy about saying my
You have to be. You're
about saying my
You
favorite,
are a media person, whether you want to be or not.
But the reason why I'm being coy specifically about saying my favorite porn stars is that most of them live in New York City. So it's sort of, it like, not to say that like they're all going to listen to this podcast and be like,
do you like the Latin flavor?
What?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of my friends. I'm friends with Boomer Banks. In New York City, I'm trying to think of other stars.
Well,
in
so
New York
many
City.
of them are. I feel like so many of them are bi-coastal. Like,
yeah,
they have
and a
their
lot
house
of
in LA and they have their house in New York.
And a lot of it's changed with the OnlyFans and Just for Fans.
Sure.
Like, it used to be like strictly like East Coast, West Coast, like studio work, but now it's like a whole new ballpark. How do we keep up?
How do we consume all of it?
Do it? So many penises to look at.
I know, it's hard. Okay, but to answer, so
what
okay,
turns you on?
So there's so many ways I can answer this question. I love a song that like is extremely scenic and extremely like visceral.
Okay. Like in a Chapel Roan kind of way?
No, it's got to be more detailed than that.
Okay. She's too pop for me.
No, I love Chapel Roan, but it's that hits me in a certain place, but not in
Mike,
like
shut up.
Not in the like like shivers up my spine kind of way.
Gotcha.
So I like to call out or share my friend Brittany Ann Trambo, who is also a queer folk musician. She's based out of Philly. So she is like, she's become a close friend, and she also happens to be like one of my favorite musicians and writers alive today, I would say.
And she's like someone you listen to, like if you go to, you're like, if you're in the mood, music to me is always about the mood I'm in, and depending on what I'm listening to.
I mean, at this point, I mostly listen to friends. Like, it's really, really cool because there's so many talented people in New York, and you know.
Do you ever play the Cummings?
Club Cumming? I haven't played there yet, but I hope to soon.
Okay, that's like, is that something to like aspire to? Because I feel like in my mind, like being like a West Coaster, that's like a cool spot to perform. The Ellen.
It would definitely be cool, but I've played at Stonewall a couple of times. Okay. I've played at Red Eye. You know, I love playing it at. I mean, queer audiences are always. I
saw on Instagram you recently played at a wedding.
I played one song at a wedding.
Are you not a wedding singer?
I don't think I am because I don't know.
Yeah. That was like a personal thing anyway. That was a friend of yours.
Oh yeah. And it was super super fun to do that. And I played my new single, not as like a shame. I didn't like plug it when I was playing it.
Of course, no, like you.
But it was
fitting,
relevant. Yeah, it was relevant. So musically, that's how I'm gonna say. Food wise, I think capers are underappreciated.
You're crazy.
I love.
Sometimes I get like a sandwich and I sneak capers on there, and I'm like, okay, this is your moment, not mine.
Exactly. I love anything with brine. Beautiful. Let's see, what else?
I feel like capers go really well with like New York style delis or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That just somehow like
I think they go
solidified
with a lot of things. They pack a punch.
Okay.
And there are ways to buy them not in an expensive way.
Okay.
They don't have to be a fancy food. What else am I going to say? What else really gets me up in the morning?
Like, what are you eating these days? People are going to like lose their mind because it's so riveting. What are you eating these days? How are your fecals?
I'm not going to answer either of those questions.
Thank you. I love you, though.
Oh my God. I mean, like, for me, and I like said this in my Instagram post today, like, for me, it's just like talking with people, meeting new people, like,
Yeah.
storytelling in all of its various forms, like just like vulnerability, honesty.
That sounds like description of your music. Yeah.
That's what I try to do. But
Yeah.
like,
what is
but
your
if-
goals as an artist?
For me, I just want to make a living. Like, I don't need a
Off art.
I don't need to
like,
be, yeah.
I feel like
purely
it's
off
rude
of
to
the
ask
music.
artists what they do for a living when they're an actual singer, because they're just like, that's rude.
No, but I mean, like, I do something that is adjacent.
Gotcha.
I edit audio stories for an oral history nonprofit,
Oh, okay.
which is really fun.
Yeah.
And they're
People-
short form, so, you know, it's people telling their stories.
People need a paycheck. Okay.
Exactly. So, yeah.
How do you think queer media sites like Instagram? Actually, first question. If you think of a queer site, like you go to, like, I'm gonna just my day off, I'm gonna like skim through like a queer site today. What are some sites you might go to that's not
honest,
pornographic?
To be honest, I wouldn't, because
that's
it
so
feels
fascinating.
like the whole internet has been swallowed by social media sites.
I feel like that is I feel like that is past tense. Like, since when I first started the website Accidental Bear,
Yeah.
it was the thing. Like, you go to queer sites like Toll Road, Instinct, Accidental Bear, like World of Wonder, and I feel like that is something of the past, because like you don't have to have like something so specific as queer anymore. It's just like, I'm gonna find my information, what I like, and the entire internet without this like sort of niche location.
And you don't even have to find it, because the algorithm caters to you. So, like,
I will find you, bitch.
So-
I will track you down and send you a text message saying, please talk to me. Sort of.
yeah, like, my Instagram feed is thirst traps,
Yeah.
queer musicians or folk musicians, politics, and like history stuff. Like, that's basically it. And like, so I don't have to go to a website to seek that stuff out.
Because your
Obviously,
algorithm figures it out for you.
if I want to dig deeper, like, sure. But like,
Yeah.
it's all in one-stop shop.
What is something queer media sites should or could do better? Like, for the ones that like are literally queer focused, do you feel like there's something they could do better?
It's hard because I'm not there. So I don't
Yeah.
like I don't
think
want
that
to
answers it
critique
so
them.
much.
Like, I mean, if they're not creating content, and I hate that
That's-
word content, for social media sites, then they're going to become irrelevant, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, just like with any of these platforms, like you build your audience on a given platform, and then it becomes, you know, the platform of yesterday, and like all that
Yeah.
work, it feels like, you know, these websites used to have tons of traffic, and now I'm sure it's like way down.
It has sort of like, it's not my main focus anymore too. Like, I still post stuff on the accidentalbear.com website, but it has changed with like OnlyFans and Just Fans, like people's like self promotion and like what's out there, and like having to like, you don't have to like narrow it down anymore. I've always been like hugely supportive of like emerging artists, and like sometimes I'm like, do people want to be called emerging artists? Because some artists that I talk to, like in general on the podcast, are like, emerging artist sounds like someone who's just like just started out. And so I'm talking to someone and I'm calling them an emerging artist, but they're like, I've been performing and walking the streets for 15 years. So like, is emerging artist actually an actual term that they like being called? And I'm like,
I'll take that. I mean, it's not like the equivalent. This will always make me laugh. I think Modest Mouse got Best New Artist at the Grammys in like 2004, and they'd been a band for like 18 years.
yeah, it is one of those things, like terms and like sort of coin phrases matter, like whether what you label it yourself as.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Exactly.
Jesus Christ. So what is something people should keep up with? What do you have coming up? What do you have, like, you have your brand new song, Do Nothing, which I'm really fucking good at. My day's off tomorrow. I plan on sitting on that couch and doing nothing.
Well, you got therapy. Don't forget therapy.
I have therapy at 11.
That's right.
I canceled last week and I lied to him also. I told him I got called in.
I told him I got
called into work. It's true. I didn't feel like talking. I didn't feel like feeling my emotions last week.
I know, but this is going to become a boy who cried wolf situation. What's going to, like, people are going to be like, you didn't get called into work. You're just sitting on the couch.
I'm
Or
sad.
you're just on the elliptical, you know, like.
No, but I want to talk about you. I'm obsessed with you. Ever since I found your Instagram, where can people find you? What should people be looking out for? Like, what's something like exciting? Like, are you going to be sharing something new soon? I mean, you just have this brand new song out. A lot of times people like also like have to put out like visuals with the song. You know,
I don't have visuals for this one because I had already shot the Tiny Desk video. This is the song that made me a finalist. So I don't have more visuals, but I do have another song coming out in April. I'm forgetting the date right now.
Sure. But that's coming up.
But it's called I Scared Him Off, and it is very gay, and it is about
We'll have to wait.
Yeah. You'll wait and see. There's a whole story behind it. And then my my first full length album is coming out on
Goose.
May 8th, which I'm super excited about.
Oh, nice. That's a full length. How many songs? Like EP, album? What's the difference? Like, what's happening? What's up?
That is also a bit of a can of worms of a question.
Okay, I'm just not helpful in any which way possible. I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. I'm not creative. I'm just here to like, please, one more person in the world, please listen to this guy.
It is 12 songs.
I hate myself.
Songs, but I produced it myself. I recorded almost every single instrument, and I'm really freaking proud of it. So that'll be out in May, and then I'll be going on. I'm playing 15 shows in May, which I'm very excited for.
Are you coming to the West Coast at all?
No, just from DC to up to Montreal. So
that's tricky. It's like a whole divide.
Exactly. But I hope to make it out there. Maybe later this year.
And so where's the best spot for people to like find out more information about you, keep up with you, just like sort of like see what you're doing and like keep tabs on you?
I think Instagram is probably the best place. Which is just at Stefan Weiner on Instagram.
I fucking love Wieners. I mean, was that ever a problem in your life, like having the last name Weiner, like in junior high?
I will tell you 2 times that it was a problem. The first was in 6th grade because my dad was the male 6th grade teacher. It was the oldest grade in an elementary school. And so he taught the boys sex ed. And so he had to be my sex ed teacher named Mr. Weiner. And the first day of that class, he came in wearing an empathy belly. And I was so mortified. For those who don't know, that's like
this is my son.
Yeah.
Weiner Jr.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a weighted belly for
like pregnancy belly, like so you can feel like what the woman's like also
it's
feeling.
Like a 30-pound belly, that you like wear all day to feel what that's like. Anyway, so that was number one.
Bad.
Exactly, and then number 2, which was in 7th grade, we had these like those blue books that people used to have that you used to write in. We had to keep them in class, and we all had like little sort of cubby slots that we would put our blue books in, and somebody had taken mine and very interestingly put in parentheses in between my names the word likes, and I was terrified. And I was like starting to understand that I was probably a little different at that time. Exactly. So that is something that I quickly erased because thankfully they wrote it in pencil. Very nice of them. But but I was like, oh my God, they know before I know.
Yeah. People are cruel. But
now it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I always say that my sense of humor came from having this last name.
Oh my God, like resilience. There's a politician in San Francisco. His name is Scott Weiner. He's a very polarizing character. Anyway, it's just the Wiener in general. It's like, I just fucking love wieners. I'm like an old man that loves wieners.
I mean, but then there's also Anthony Weiner, no relation. Yeah, exactly. So, he fell from grace, obviously.
But I did scour the internet trying to find the picture of his wiener because, like one does.
Well, was it an unclothed wiener or was it just a dick print? I can't remember.
And we're done. No. Okay. This has gone longer than I'm normal, which is great because it's like 1 hour, 11 minutes. I'm so excited that you got to talk to me. Thank you so much. Like, you're exactly what I thought you were going to be like.
Oh, good. That makes me really happy.
That's dumb.
I want to, on the internet, in person, in conversation, just be who I am. So like,
I hope everybody follows your songs. They're so funny. Like sometimes like I'll be at work. I'm like, taking a 10-minute break. I'm taking a number 2. And I'm like,
Oh my.
I'm like scrolling on your feed. I'm like, I love Stefan Weiner. And we're looking forward to the album coming out in May. And let's maybe talk again, maybe closer to May.
Sounds great.
And if you ever make it to San Diego, please come visit me.
Whoo! I hope to.
I'm lonely.
I haven't been there in like 14 years. So
it's a very different place, especially like all my big years of being in San Francisco, and it's like crazy and liberal. Coming to San Diego is very different. Like I've been searching. I've been here for actually this month 2 years. I've been searching for like an alternative or like queer or like alternative scene. It doesn't exist here. It's all like Katy Perry remixes. Boop boop boop.
Yeah.
Which
has a time and place for sure.
Yeah. So a friend of mine who's been here for like 12 years, he's like, yeah, I go to LA or Palm Springs for culture. It's not in San Diego. Not that doesn't mean you can't like come here and perform.
Sure. Yeah. No.
And I'll even let you sleep on my couch.
Thank you.
Free. Well, for a small fine.
I just want to go hang out with the tigers. That's all.
Yes, you will come to the safari park, and I will introduce you to my 7 tigers and 4 lions I take care of. Whoa. That's a whole nother topic.
Anyway,
all right.
This has been great.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for yesterday, like completely becoming an Alzheimer's old man and forgetting that like 4 o'clock I was supposed to be talking to you, but I'm so glad I worked out to talk today.
We did it.
And I can't wait to hear your new songs. And I'm really freaking loving Do Nothing. Like it's so I keep thinking, why do I keep thinking of farmer's market? Because at the farmer's markets where I grew up in, there's always an artist singing there. It's like people schlepping organic apples in farmer's markets. It's just like earlier today when I was like, I woke up thinking like I thought you were singing Puff the Magic Dragon. I don't know. You're folk. I feel like you're folk.
I am. It's true. That's how I identify.
All right. Well, reach out anytime you want to talk.
Amazing. We'll do.
Promote something.
Thanks so much.
And all that. And then we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.